Hello mga kababayan, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Laruan ni Obi-Wan. So this is a 3.75-inch action figure from the G.I. Joe line. The top man himself, General Hawk. So before we discuss the action figure, let me talk about the history of this action figure in my life. So I received this specific copy of this G.I. Joe General back in Christmas of 1985. So 1984, I received the Dr. Fate action figure. The following Christmas, this was the gift that I had. So the General himself, the big man of the G.I. Joe team. So I had the impression that it was a Christmas gift that came from Santa Claus. But later on, I would realize that they came from my parents. But what is important is the memories that are attached to this action figure. So from the Christmas of 84 gift that I have the Dr. Fate action figure, and the following year, 85, I would receive this action figure. The difference would be really big, because with regards to the articulation points, this little guy had more articulation than the Dr. Fate action figure that I had and cherished for a year. So this became my new best friend. So compared to that Dr. Fate action figure, the original copy of the General Hawk I had in the Philippines, I didn't bring it here in the US. I still have it in my personal collection in the Philippines. It looks really beat up. It was a toy that has been played really hard. So there was really paint scratch marks on the hands from putting a lot of things or letting him hold on to a lot of things. The boots would also be marred. They would almost look, majority of the soles would be green because they would stand on different surfaces and be played with. And so with the head, because this figure had a detachable helmet. And for a year of play of putting that helmet on and off, on and off, on and off, so the hairline would really be white in some areas where the helmet portion would really scratch on plastic to plastic. So it was really a played with figure, something that I really loved and really cherished. This copy of this figure I purchased from Dallas Vintage Toys. So I drove 3 hours to Dallas Vintage Toys to get this copy of this action figure. So it was worth the drive, just getting to my own, once again, my own personal copy that I could add to my collection. So this is how the big guy, the General himself, looks like in the 1980s. So the accessories that it came with would be a PASGAT or personal armor system for ground troops helmet. So it also has a molded in goggles or dust goggles. This was the backpack that came with the action figure. So we have the canteen, 2 grenades, and a radio pouch for communications. And for defensive purposes, the General has his pistol. So something that looks like a 1911 45 ACP. So this is the General with all of the accessories that came with it. So actually when I got this figure, I really checked the authenticity of the accessories that it came with, because I'm really familiar with this action figure. So I checked the bag, if it was the correct bag, if it was the correct pistol, and if it was the correct helmet. And really, Dallas Vintage Toys made with a really good second-hand copy or pre-loved copy of this guy. So they really changed the screws and the rubber o-ring that attaches the lower and upper body, and really cleaned this guy up. So before purchase, I don't know how this figure looks like, but when I held it this afternoon, a lot of memories really came back to me. So a lot of love for this specific action figure. So I really am contented with this copy that I was able to purchase. So even if it did not come with its original packaging or even the file card, it's okay. Christmas of 2008, I received my second copy of the General. So this time, this came from my wife, who was my girlfriend then. So she transferred from the Philippines to the US to work. So when she saw this at one of her shopping days at Target, she immediately grabbed this and sent it to me in a balikbayan box. So she knew the significance of this specific action figure character, this G.I. Joe character, to me as a toy collector. Of course, she saw my collection and saw this General in my collection, and she asked, why is this action figure looking that way compared to the other action figures that you had? So I told her the history of that toy, and she was really moved. So when she saw this second copy, actually, so you could see that is a 2008 release. So when she saw this copy, she bought it. So this General has stayed in packaging for a very long time. Actually, that is the dent that it received from the balikbayan box. So this is a copy that won't be opened. I would just want to savor this copy this way. So this General traveled from the US to the Philippines, and from the Philippines back home here in the Texas. So yep. So this guy has once again returned home. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what was your first G.I. Joe action figure in your collection.